Chulin Daf Yomi continues the Gemara. Amar Ula Chavraya Amrin the Chevrot Gezakt. We said in Daf Yomi Page that the Mishnah is talking about Chulin Shnei Saltar Sakodesh would like Rabbi Yoshua. But I say Rabbi Yoshua that it even goes according to Rabbi Yoshua. Meaning we answer that our Mishnah that says that if you have a carbon that if you have an animal as Huchshar Bedam, you cannot use your Yodayim. He said we're talking about it's Chulin Shnei Saltar Sakodesh, and therefore it becomes a Shlishi and it is Metame. And that's not like Rabbi Yoshua, who seems to say that there's no such thing as Chulin Shnei Saltar Sakodesh. Says Ula, no. Even Rabbi Yoshua agrees. And what Rabbi Yeshua means to say is Lemi Bayi Kamer, Lemi Bayi Chulin Shnei Saltar Sakodesh Dechmiri. Of course, you don't need to say that Chulin Shnei Saltar Sakodesh are because they're Chomer. You don't even have to say the Isbahu Shlishi that they make Shlishi. Ela Filu Chulin Shnei Saltar Truma. Even Chulin that are done al Taras Truma Nami Isbahu Shlishi. Even they have Shlishi. Meaning the reason why Rabbi Yeshua pointed out specifically the Chulin Shnei Saltar Truma is because he's saying the bigger Chiddush that even Truma, but for sure Kachim. Even Chulin Shnei Saltar Truma Nami Isbahu Shlishi, they also have Shlishi L'Truma. Man Chavraya, says the Gemara, who are these Chavra that said the first answer? Rabbi Bachana, he Rabbi Bachana, Amar Bechon, Maya Hadra, Elazar Rabbi Yeshua. Rabbi Bachana says in the name of Rabbi Yechanan to explain the dispute between Rabbi Elazar and Rabbi Yeshua. And he wants to know what do they answer to each other. So we learned in Daf Yomi Chullin that there's a very simple machlokes. Rabbi Eliezer says that whatever you eat, you become. You eat Rishon L'Tumah, you become Rishon L'Tumah. You eat Sheni L'Tumah, you become Sheni L'Tumah. You eat Shlishi L'Tumah, you become Shlishi L'Tumah. Rabbi Yeshua says no. You eat Rishon and Sheni, you become Sheni. You eat Shlishi, you become a Sheni L'Kodesh, but not a Sheni for Truma. Okay, so this is the machlokes. So we're going to have to explain what exactly each Shita holds. So Rabbi Yochanan explains that Amrullah Elazar Bishur, Elazar tells Bishur, Matzino Eichel Chama Mina Eichel. They changed the gears over here to say that Rabbi Elazar told Bishur, Matzino Sheha Eichel. We find that the one who eats is more chamor, is more stringent than the Meichel, than the actual food. When the Ilu Nevelas Oif Tahar, that if you have a Nevela of an Oif Tahar, Bachutz, that was Malika was done Bachutz, meaning it's puzzle. Then loy mitame. It's not mitame. If you touch it, if you carry it, an oif that's an avela is not mitame. But if you eat it, then it is mitame. It impurifies the clothing you're eating as it goes into the place where you eat, place where you swallow. Meaning, as you eat it, then it makes you tame, makes your clothing tame. So therefore, you see that eating something is more chomer than the actual food itself, because the food itself is not metame, only the eating is worse. V'anu, and therefore, us, heyach le'na'aseh oichel k'meichel. How are we not going to make the ochel, the one who eats, as the same din as the meichel itself? Meaning, eating is much worse than the actual meichel. So if I eat a rishon l'tumah, so I will become a Rishon L'Tumah, because eating is worse than the actual Meichel. I'm not going to go down a notch if I eat it. If anything, I'm going to go up a notch. So he says, no, we just retain our din Rishon L'Tumah. Rabbi Yeshua holds Minavelas Eif Loi Tahar Loi Gamrinu. You can't learn from Minavelas Eif Tahar. The Chidushu. You can't learn from the fact that the veil of an Eif is Tahar, because over there it's a Chiddush. Over there it's really an exception, it's considered a Chiddush. Rabbi Yeshua says we can't learn from Nevelas Eif Tahar, because over there it's a very strange phenomenon. We never find anywhere else that when you touch it, it's not metame only when you eat it, and therefore that's the exception. We can't learn from it. Ella, says Rabbi Yeshua, we find just the opposite, that food itself is more stringent, is more chomer than someone who eats the ilu ma'achal, because when food that's tame itself is tame, as long as you have a beitza. All you need is a beitza, an egg. In the measurement of an egg already, then the food is considered tummy. The oichel, but someone who eats, you need if you eat something tamei, in order to become tamei from the food that you ate, you need ad ochel kachatzi pras. You have to eat half a loaf, and therefore you see that ma'achal is more stringent than the eater. The one who eats needs to eat more, and therefore it's more lenient, because until you become tamei, you need to eat much more, and therefore he says, Anu. How are we going to make the one who eats just like the food itself? Therefore, if the food that you ate was a rishon, you have to go down a notch, because the fact that you ate it is a more lenient thing than the actual food itself. The food itself is tamim kabeitza, and you eating it requires something more, and therefore you must go down a notch from the food itself that you ate. Rabbi Eliyahu counters and says, no, tuma mishu'urin legamrin. He doesn't. You can't learn the stringency of the tuma from the fact that the measurement is different, because the nature of what you're doing, the nature of eating is different than just is different than the substantial amount of food on the table. It's just a different thing. Therefore, you can't learn from shi'urim. Don't tell me that the measurements teach you anything regarding the nature of the tuma that's created. The Oid asks Rabbi Eliyahu, according to you, Shata Omer al Rishon Sheni, according to your reasoning, that you hold you have to go down a notch because eating is more lenient, so I understand Rishon, from Rishon to Sheni is Yafa. That I understand that you go down a notch. But Ata Omer Sheni, Lama, why do you say if someone eats Sheni L'Tuma, he should stay a Sheni? Shouldn't he become a Shlishi? Don't you say you have to go down a notch? Says the Gemara, Amar Loi. He says, no, because we have precedent in other places that we find that Sheni makes Sheni. Al Yidei Mashkin. If you have a Sheni L'Tuma which touches a mashka, and then that mashka is on a food, so then the mashka becomes a Rishon. That's the halacha, that because it's a mashka becomes a Rishon L'Tuma, even though what touched it is a Sheni. If a Sheni L'Tuma touches the mashka, it becomes Rishon, and then that Rishon in turn makes the food that it's touching into Sheni. So you see that from a Sheni could come another Sheni, and therefore if you eat Sheni, you'll also become Sheni. So says the Gemara, Omar Loi, he tells him back, Matzinu Shasheni v'hamashkin nami tchila havu. So if you're learning from that case of mashkin, so then you should become a Rishon, just like the Sheni makes a Rishon. Meaning, if you're looking for precedence for Sheni to make something more than it really should, and therefore you say it makes it a Sheni, not a Shlishi, so you should make it a Rishon. Just like the Mashkim are a Rishon. Ditnan, like it says in the Mishnah, Kol ha'poisel b'truma, anything that disqualifies Truma is mitame Mashkin liyes tchila. Meaning, if you have a Sheni l'tuma, which does disqualify Truma, then it's mitame mashkin liyes tchila. It makes, if it touches liquids, then it makes the liquids rishon l'tuma. Chutz mitvul yoim, except for a person who already immersed and just nightfall didn't come yet. But everything else would be mitame mashkin liyes tchila. So why don't you say it's a rishon? The Gemara never actually answers this question of Rabbi Eliyahu. Rashi explains that Rabbi Eliyahu just holds that you can't learn from mashkim itself. Mashkim itself, that mashkin become a rishon l'tuma, that you're not going to learn from that, because mashkin are different. But you are going to, mashkin are much easier to become tummy, they're alulin l'kabel tuma, so therefore we're not going to learn from the fact that a sheni l'tuma makes a mashka rishon. That we're not going to touch. But the fact that the rishon does cause a sheni l'tuma, the mashkin, which is a rishon, causes a sheni l'tuma, even though it was only touched by a sheni. So then you see from there that sheni could create sheni, and therefore Rabbi Eliyahu says we do have precedent. We are going to be machmer, even though it's d'rabbanan, we are going to be machmer and say that someone who eats sheni will stay a sheni also. V'oid continues Rabbi Yeshua to ask when Rabbi Eliezer, Shlishi Sheni Lama, according to you again, you say you have to go down a notch because Ochel is more lenient than Ma'achol. So then how come if you eat the Shlishi, you become a Sheni? And Rabbi Yeshua said that Shlishi, if someone eats Shlishi, so he becomes a Sheni LaKodesh. Regarding Kachim, he becomes a Sheni Latuma. and the ain sheni truma, but not regarding truma. But either way, the question of Rabbi Eliezer is that if you hold you have to go down a notch, then how come you went backwards? You didn't even not only did you not go down a notch, you went up a notch. You became a sheni l'kodesh. Omar Lois, he tells him back, Afani lo yamarti ela b'truma. I only said this by truma. Again, the Mishnah that Rabbi Yeshua and Rabbi Eliezer were arguing with ends off saying that Rabbi Yeshua, who says that someone who eats a shlishi l'tuma becomes a sheni l'kodesh, is talking about chulin shenaisu al taras truma. And he says, since I'm talking about chulin shenaisu al taras truma that had only the shmira of someone who's careful about truma, therefore regarding kachim, it's not considered pure, because truma taharasa, its purity, the purity of truma is considered tumah hi eitzel kachim. Like we find in other places that if you watch something from truma, even regarding kachim, it's going to be considered tameh. Even if you watch something for midras of truma, let's say an impure person like a nida that sits on a bed, so she makes that bed tameh, and that's mitame truma. And that's a big problem for truma. Even so, if you watch it for truma and then kachim touches the bed, it will disqualify kachim, even though it was totally watched for truma. And for truma you need to watch it also. It doesn't make a difference, because truma and kachim have a different status, and therefore you have to be more careful for kachim than for truma. And if you didn't have in mind to watch it for kachim, so then we will be machmir and say that it's considered tamei legabe kodesh. And therefore says Rabbi Eliezer that the reason why someone who eats a shlishi of chulin shenaisu al taras truma, the reason why that will bump him up to be a sheni l'kodesh is because just because something that's done for truma is not necessarily going to be considered tohar legabe kodesh, and we're going to be machmer, and we're going to bump you up into being a sheni l'kodesh. Omer Rab Zera, Omer Rabasi Rabbi Yochanan, Omer Rabbi Yanai, ha'oichel shlishi shel chulin, if you eat shlishi of chulin shenaisu al taras hakodesh, again, like we said, the regular chulin does not make a chulin that's a sheni l'tuma, cannot make a shlishi, can never make a shlishi l'tuma. Only if we're talking about chulin shenaisu al taras hakodesh, then it can become a shlishi. If you have chulin that's tummy that touches chulin shenaisu al taras hakodesh, so then it's called shlishi, right? So shlishi shel chulin shenaisu al taras hakodesh. So then naasa gufay sheni l'kodesh. He says your body becomes a sheni l'kodesh, like similar to what Rabbi Eliezer just said. He said that if you eat the shlishi, you become a sheni l'kodesh, a sheni regarding kachim. Eisavir Rabbi Zera asks Zera to Rabasi, shlishi sheni l'kodesh. The Mishnah said if you eat shlishi, it's a sheni l'kodesh, vein sheni l'truma, but not regarding truma. And what did he say? This is bechulin shenaisu al taras truma. The Mishnah specifically said that this is only talking about chulin shenaisu al taras truma. Al taras truma in al taras hakodesh loy. If it's not al taras hakodesh, then you will not become a sheni l'kodesh. Omar lei loy mi bayika omar. No, again, like we said on Amud Aleph, he means to say, for sure, chulin shenaisu al taras hakodesh will become. If you eat a shlishi of chulin shenaisu al taras hakodesh, you will become a sheni l'kodesh. But he said even by truma, loy mi baye by kodesh, I don't have to say it, but even by chulin shenaisu al taras truma, also you'll become a sheni l'kodesh. Says the Gemara of ha'af ani lo yamarti ela b'truma. But what do you mean? We have the statement of Rabbi Eliezer that he answered Rabbi Yeshua that I only meant it by truma. It sounds like he only meant it by chulin shenaisu al taras truma, not al taras hakodesh. Says the Gemara Amiroim ninhu. There's a machlokes Amiroim ve'alib Rabbi Yochanan in what Rabbi Yochanan held. But really, these words of afani were never Rabbi Eliezer's actual words. This is just conjectures of the Amiroim as to what the Tanoim would answer each other. So therefore, according to this shita, that there is no differentiation between chulin shenaisu al taras hakodesh and chulin shenaisu al taras truma, and by both of them you become a sheni l'kodesh, what we have to explain is that the reason why Rabbi Eliezer holds you become a sheni l'kodesh, even though he holds you really should bump it down a notch, is because the shmira of chulin shenaisu al taras truma is not enough for kachim. And according to this explanation, even the shmira for chulin shenaisu al tyrus hakodesh isn't enough for bona fide kachim. For genuine kachim, it's not going to be enough. Because even though you are watching it as if it's kachim, and you've accepted on yourself to eat all your chulin as if it's kachim, it's still not going to make a difference. It's still not going to be enough and as actual kachim. And therefore, if you eat it, you become a sheni lakodesh. Continues the Gemara. Omar Ula. Ha'oichel shlishi shel chulin. If you eat shlishi of chulin, how do you have shlishi of chulin? Again, because it's shenaisu al taras truma. It's something that was done al taras truma. Then nifsal gufay milechol b'truma. Then your body becomes puzzle to eat b'truma, which in essence means you become a shlishi. And if you become a shlishi, then you can, then you're not allowed to eat truma. You don't make anything tameh, but you're not allowed to eat truma. So in essence, we're saying is if you eat shlishi of chulin shenais al taras truma, you become a shlishi and you become puzzle and you cannot eat truma. My kamash malan says the Gemara. What is this teaching? Tanina, we have a mishnah shlishi sheni lakodesh. The end of the other's statement was that if you eat shlishi, you're sheni lakodesh. Ve'ain sheni the truma. But regarding truma, you're not a sheni. Only for kodesh you're a sheni, but for truma you're not a sheni. And he said we're talking about b'chulin shenais al taras truma. Says the Gemara, we can infer very simply that sheni hu de loyhave hashlishi have. Even though regarding truma you don't become a sheni like kodesh, but still you're a shlishi, and for a shlishi is not allowed to eat truma now. So now it's nifsal gufay. So we have a blatant inference from the Mishnah to the statement of Ula. Why did Ula have to say it? Says the Gemara, no. If we only had the statement of the Mishnah, avamina loy shani. This is the Mishnah in Tyrus. That's why I'm calling it a Mishnah. The Mishnah on Lam Gimel Beis, the Machlekes Tanaim we're saying is really a Mishnah in Tyrus. So if you only had that Mishnah, I would say loy sheni have v'loy shlishi. You would be nothing. If you eat shlishi of truma of chulin shenais al taras truma, you become nothing. You don't even become a shlishi, and you won't be puzzled. Therefore, kamash malan. Meaning, I would think it's nothing. I would become nothing. The ID the Amar Sheni B'Kodesh. And since we just why did we say Sheni? Why did we say Ein Sheni the Truma? You should say Ein Shlishi the Truma also. The reason why we said Ein Sheni the Truma is because we just finished saying that Yeh Sheni for Kodesh, and therefore that's why we use the same terminology. The ID the Amar Sheni B'Kodesh. Since we already said Sheni Kodesh, Amar Nami Ein Sheni B'Truma. But really, according to if I just had the Mishnah, I would say there's no Shlishi either. You become nothing, not at all Tameh. Kamash Malan Ula know that you become a Shlishi and Nifsal Gufay. To eat truma. Eisvei Rav Hamnuna Le'ula asks Rav Hamnuna on Ula's shita. Harishon Shebechulin says in the Brisa. Another Mishnah in Tyrus. Harishon Shebechulin. It's the next Mishnah. This is in Perek Beis, and that one was Mishnah Beis, and this is Mishnah Gimel. Harishon Shebechulin Tamei Umitame. If you have a chulin that's a rishon l'tuma, so that is Tamei Umitame Truma. It itself is tummy, and then it makes chulin, it makes truma tummy. Not only does it make it tummy, not only does it make it possible that the truma that touches a rishon chulin that's rishon l'tuma becomes possible, it even becomes tummy, and it's going to make a shlishi because it's truma. This truma is a sheni l'tuma, and a sheni l'tuma by truma does make a shlishi, so it's tummy. V'hash sheni, however. If you have chulin, that's a sheni, right? So then it's poisel ve'ena metame. Then it can disqualify truma, but it will not make the truma tame in the sense that it will make something else tame. Meaning a sheni lechulin, a chulin that's a sheni letuma, will make truma possible, but it won't make it into a shlishi that it can make a revi. Because by truma we hold the shlishi doesn't make a revi. Okay. V'hash shlishi. However, if you have chulin that's a shlishi, so then that is ne'echal b'nizid hadema. It's able to be eaten, this chulin that's a shlishi. How do you have chulin that's a shlishi? Again, this is talking about chulin shenaisu al tyrus truma. And what are we saying? That you can eat it if you have chulin shenaisel taras truma, and then it was mitame, it was nitma with a sheni, so it becomes a shlishi. Then what do you do with this chulin shenaisel taras truma that is tomei as a shlishi l'tuma? You're allowed to eat it b'nezid adema. You're allowed to eat it when it's mixed into truma, meaning you can even eat it with truma itself as long as it's in a mixture. Says the Gemara, I amart nifsal gufim lechol truma. You, Ula, told me that someone who eats shlishi shel chulin shenaisel taras truma, you're disqualified from eating truma. Now our Mishnah is telling me Safinan lay that we let him eat midi de pasale legufe. You said you let him mix it into a mixture of truma, so he's going to eat it. It's going to passel his body, and then he's eating truma. He's going to passel his body, meaning he's become tummy that he's not allowed to eat chulin, he's not allowed to eat truma, and you're mixing it with truma. He's now going to eat it and eat truma. It's aser. According to you, Ula, that if you eat shlishi shel chulin shenaisu altaris truma, you become aser to eat truma. So how could we mix it in? How could we mix this in with regular truma? So he told him back, Hanach lenizid hadema, leave nizid hadema alone. Leave nizid is a stew that's mixed, meaning a stew that has a mixture of truma and this chulin. Right? So leave that alone. Leave that case alone. That's not a problem. Why? Why is it not a problem? Because, says the Gemara, Deleika kazai is b'chtei achilas pras. When you eat the chulin, when you eat this truma, you don't have a kazayis, but you're not going to eat a kazayis within the amount of time it takes to eat half a loaf of bread. We always know that in order for shiurim to be mitzdarif, in order for the substantial amount of food that you need to become tamei or to passel anything, it always has to be b'chtei achilas pras. It has to be eaten together. In order for it to combine to a substantial shear, it has to be eaten within the amount of time it takes to eat half a loaf of bread, chatzi pras. And therefore, we're saying over here that within this mixture, because you're not going to eat a kazayis of truma, you're not going to eat a kazayis of truma within the amount of time it takes to eat a loaf of bread, because it's in a big stew, it's all spread, divided throughout the entire stew, so you're not going to eat a full kazayis within the amount of time that it combines into a shear that's aser. Therefore it's not a problem, because you won't really be eating the shear of tumah that's aser. Rashi doesn't really like this explanation, because he says still it would be aser to feed yourself this chulin shenaisu al taras truma, because then it'll make the kohen's aser to eat truma. You might come to eat truma, and there's an iser to make yourself tamei. So either Rashi doesn't like the fact that we're allowing the kohen to eat it, even though he's not going to be over on truma, because the truma is divided throughout. Therefore, Rashi says a different shot. Rashi says that we're never talking that you mix it with actual truma. We mean that you only have the chulin shenai taras truma, and that's mixed into a stew. With the rest of it is chulin stew. And therefore, the only issue is that how the Gemara asks, how can you eat this chulin shenai taras truma that's mixed into the stew? It's going to make his body aser, and you might come to eat chulin, you might come to eat real truma later. So how could you allow him to be mitame his body? Answers the Gemara that it's not a problem, because over here we're talking about that it's not it's divided within the stew, and since it's divided within the stew, and you won't eat a kazais of this chulin shenai taras truma within a kidei achilas pras, and therefore it won't combine to a shear to make his body also to eat truma. Meaning the only time if you eat, Ula said that if you eat chulin shenai taras truma, that's a shlishi. If you eat that, your body becomes aser to eat truma. You become tamei and you can't eat truma. That's only if you eat it kazais for dechilas pras. But if you have it mixed up in the stew and you won't eat a substantial amount within the right amount of time, then you won't become tamei. Ad kan chulin daf lamed daled.